Hey, what's up, sports fans? Welcome back to another episode of Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF. This week on the show, the New York State is 14-4. Has Allen surpassed Mahomes as the best in class? And is the GOAT headed to pasture? I am your host, Jonah, and with me, as always, is the man who once said, no, that's not true, my man, RPF.
Listen, we had a little technical issue this morning, but it's nothing compared to what the Broncos and Russell Wilson are going through this morning.
God.
Oh, my God. This is, again, we record this Tuesday morning right after the Monday night debacle. And Russell Wilson, what did the kids say in 1997? OMG? Oh, my God.
You can find us on all of your favorite podcast listening platforms, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, all the great ones. Just head over, search Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF. We can also be found on Instagram and Twitter, and of course, our dedicated YouTube channel. Just search Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF. RPF, aside from everything else, how's your week going?
It's good, man. I was thinking about, as I was flipping around my DirecTV Sunday ticket thing, and I said, every time I flipped over to the Patriots, there was a Zappe-hour. It was like,
hey, yes!
I kept thinking Jonah's going to be having a big old smile on his face for the podcast. But yeah, I was jealous because we had the Crypt Keeper as my quarterback for the Dolphins, which is Teddy Bridgewater, literally the most overrated player in the NFL history. But anyway, but I don't want to digress from your happiness. Explain this Zappe-hour moment that the Patriot fans are experiencing.
Hey, it's I gotta be honest. After last year, I didn't really expect that a quarterback controversy could be possible in New England. But holy smokes! I mean, listen, I love Mac Jones. We all of us New Englanders, we love Mac Jones. He hasn't done. The problem is he hasn't done anything wrong. It's just that.
Not much right either. Sorry.
Well, yeah. He's been serviceable, right? He's been a serviceable QB, and then all of a sudden, he goes out. Hoyer comes in, lasts like 5 plays, and we get this Bailey Zappe, and I guarantee you, 80% of New England fans are going, "Who?"
But is that the greatest name possibly?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, plus it just lends to every single moniker that rhymes with happy.
Like I had my first thought, who's your Zappe? Who's your Poppy? Whatever.
Yeah, but so he comes in, and the last 2 games, I mean, not only wins the games, but like decisively is winning football games, and it's just what a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, he was like channeling early Derek Carr or whatever. He was like very Aaron Rodgers, like weirdly. He was very confident and cocky and in the pocket and like Devontae.
Totally. Like I'm sitting here as a fan. I'm like, okay, just keep us close enough in the game so that maybe we can score at the end and win. And here we are. We're beating the Lions 29-0. We're beating the Browns. I mean, granted, these aren't aren't the Bills and the Chiefs and everything like that. But
like the Giants of the gridiron.
right. But nonetheless, I mean, 29-0, then 38 or 35-8 or whatever it was. Yeah,
they're scoring.
It's been incredible. It's been nice. It's been nice.
So Zappe-hour is alive and well in the
Zappe-hour. Yes, Zappe-hour is alive and well. All right, well, let's head into what I have down as our first headline of the week, and that is RPF.
Yeah.
If I had told you before the season started that the Jets would be the worst team in the state of New York, you would have said, of course.
Duh. Yeah.
If I had told you that they'd be the worst team at 4-2, what would you have said?
I like some of those gummies you're chewing on. There's no way. I mean, the Jets, if they won 4 games all season, I thought would be pretty 50-50, even bet there. So but I did say this a couple weeks ago, and I'm saying this again. The AFC East is the new AFC West. And the AFC, we went from least to beast in this division when everyone is in contention, including Zappe-hour-led Patriots.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. I mean,
it will be.
These teams, even before all this season, all the teams play each other tight. In most divisions they do, but this division it's a field goal or whatever. Last play. So there's some scenario that any of these teams because Buffalo is definitely going to be in the playoffs, of course. But
Right.
any of these other three teams that were also Rams in many people's book could just be fighting it out the last 3 weeks. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really fun thing to watch. Yeah.
I think it'll come down. Yeah, I think it'll come down to the end. I mean, it's been. I'll be interested to see. As a football fan, I hope. As a Patriots fan, I don't hope, but I'll be interested to see how well the Jets can sustain this. Right, like there's almost like there has to be that element of like. Just like euphoria, like right now they're just like, oh my god, like I don't even know what we're doing.
But let's be real. If it comes down to a final game between the Jets and whomever, I'll take the whomever. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right for now. I mean,
historically, yeah, exactly.
They're unproven.
Yeah, exactly.
They're unproven. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've got them. They just again the Packers are reeling a little bit, but again, just the headline Jets beat the Packers is like it can't be ignored.
And the best part of that's not even the top headline of the week or the top upset of the week.
Where are you queuing in on?
Tampa Bay, perhaps?
Oh my gosh. Oh, geez. Sorry.
Did you block it out?
Well,
you blacked out? Did you black out?
So the reason I blacked that out is because so I signed up for one of the betting apps, okay, just to have a little fun. I bet like 10 cents.
No, you have a wife and children and child. You cannot.
No. Okay, I bet like 10 cents so that like, so that games are entertaining to watch. Okay. But anyway, my point is the one that I signed up for has this promo going to where if you place a $5 bet, just a $5.
Oh, I know this one.
Okay. On any team to win, you get $200 in return that you can't cash out with, but you can use it to keep betting, right? Mm-hmm. Get you hooked. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I put my $5 in, and I'm looking at the games and the money lines, and I'm like, oh,
what's the sure thing?
What a fucking no-brainer! The Bucs against the Steelers, and sure as shit, and so and there goes my betting career. My betting career is over.
Done. You're checked out of betting forever. Oh my god! But let's get into it. So hang on. So the New York situation here, as you mentioned, is the fact that Buffalo, the Jets, and Giants are all having banner years.
Yes.
At the same time.
At the same time. It's incredible. Obviously the Bills go into Arrowhead, and I think we're going to get into that a little bit, but they go into Arrowhead and take care of business. I mean, Josh Allen looks superhuman. Like
Josh Allen looked good, man.
I mean, when
he looked like the opposite of what he looked like against Miami. He looked
when he had that run where he hurdled the defenseman, he was just like running and like hurdled like as in like a hurdler on the track. He was just like.
Every Buffalo fan's like, no hurdling. No. Do not do that.
Right.
In a season of a bad manicure gets you in the protocol. Do not start hurdling over defenders.
But yeah, they went in, took care of business. I mean, it just they looked. To me, it looked
Mahomes looked human.
Mahomes looked human, and Josh Allen looked superhuman. And to me, this was kind of I don't want to say it's the game, but it's definitely a defining moment where I kind of went, Josh Allen, not Mahomes.
Every power ranking I would have him checked. I'm sure. I mean, the Bills have the Chiefs are 4 or 5, and then Bills are 1. I'd have to be right, or 2.
Yeah,
the Eagles perhaps.
Yeah. And then the Giants, man. The Giants just keep pulling off comeback win after comeback win. I mean, it's
this team that the team who can't say no. We will not lose.
They will not lose. It's incredible. Like every single time I'm like, and again. They were playing the Ravens, who have now lost like 3 in a row.
But by the way, where was that on your bingo card? That the Ravens would be like, no, doesn't count really because they just played the Ravens. What?
Yeah, but yeah,
the Ravens were in a preseason favorite to be in the bowl. So
yeah,
let's not
dismiss them. They need to fix that defense. Although I will say, I do think they keep blowing these late game leads, but I will say in the Giants game in particular, I do think Lamar Jackson takes quite a bit of the blame. He had a couple plays late in the game where one was the interception where, there's kind of like a botched hike and he picked it up and he was scrambling. And at that point, throw it out of bounds, man.
Don't lose the game. Rule 1.
Yeah.
Rule 1 of Fight Club. Don't lose the game.
Yeah. And there was another play as well that I'm blanking on, but I kind of said, ooh, I don't know if that was the right decision there.
I'm a friend of mine who's a big fan. He's a doctor in LA, and he's always says, after the 50 years of schooling I had to go to school for, the first thing they teach you is the first thing I kept thinking, that's a quarterback rule. First, do no harm. It should be, it's the first rule of doctors, and should be the rule of quarterbacks, right? First, do no harm, and that's exactly what he did. And Lamar, by the way, I've said this over the past episodes, that he's like, for 3 quarters, he's lights out. There's no one better in the NFL at quarterback, and the numbers can probably bear that out. Fourth quarter, a combination of coaching decisions that are boneheaded, as we've been discussing, and his own inability his own hubris to think he can do anything at that point, have led to these catastrophic, truly like heartbreaking losses for these Ravens. Not to say they can't turn it around with a whole run at the end, but they're piling up, and it's becoming kind of like their ethos. Like, oh shit, we're only up by 10 points in the fourth quarter. Uh-oh. Oh, right. Lamar has the ball to throw on 3rd and 7. Uh-oh. It's like, that should not be happening with that team and that caliber of quarterback. Right. But the defense, like you said, it is porous as as anything. That's the Ravens.
It's really bad. So anyway, we got we got all New York teams. I mean, wheeling and dealing at the tops of their respective divisions. Moving on, here's another one that kind of shocked me out of nowhere.
I'm sorry. So much so that Governor Kathy Hochul, which is the governor of New York, tweeted about football. I was like, what's she tweeting for? I mean, my whole feed is like, oh my God, Tua's not there. We suck without Tua. And all of a sudden, Governor Kathy Hochul says, Bills, Giants and Jets all win today. Let's keep it going. I'm like, what? There's a second straight week, apparently, that they all 3 won.
Oh, really?
Straight week. Wow. So she said, never happened 3 straight weeks that all 3 teams win. So she's like, let's do this. I'm like, no, let's not do that entirely. Let's relax, Governor. Anyway.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Go to the debate stage.
Yeah. All right, so here's where we're getting into my blacked out game that I had. So Falcons beat the Niners, who we are all hyping up as Super Bowl runners. Falcons beat the Niners, and meanwhile the Bucs lose to the Steelers. And so now I think they're both 3-3. They're both 3-3, but one's doing this and the other one's doing this. Mm-hmm. So I mean the Falcon. I was looking at the Falcons' track record, and they could very feasibly be at least 4-2, if not possibly even 5-1. They had that one. They lost to the Bucs.
Yeah.
Well, they lost to the Saints week 1, and they also lost to the Bucs just last week on that, call it whatever you want, that BS
terrible
roughing the passer call. Where they had the game.
Like how dare you touch Tom Brady call? Yes.
Tom got booped in the nose.
He goes, I'm playing flag football. He touched me.
But then again, you look at like the Falcon stat lines, and it's like Mariota, and it's like 135 yards with like a rushing touchdown.
17 pass attempts with 113 yards. I mean, look, let's not get overhyped here. It's a lot of mediocrity, parity, bad timing, bad coaching, bad playing. It's a weird look. It's a fight towards the middle in a lot of the NFL teams. The Falcons, logistically should have been 5-1 if they had even normal stats for that. It's just a weird year. It's a weird half a year so far about that. These teams are like underperforming to the point where they're like, wait, no, it's like the Keystone Cops. They're pointing at each other, and they're all. So what happened? Everyone's in it. It's like the second grade soccer team. Everyone gets a blue ribbon just for showing up. Everyone's there,
right?
So there's very few teams that are completely out of it. If you were to tell me that the Broncos and the Raiders are arguably two of the worst, have the worst records or something, it's like, what? And the Lions, that's understandable. So anyway, I think in that sense that I don't think we should be celebrating the Falcons, which, by the way, are stupefyingly boring to watch. I'm sorry. They're just like, I mean,
Yeah.
if ever you want to read, if you have insomnia, just go to your DVR and pop in a Falcons game. That's going to put you right to bed. But like you said, they're in it enough to be in.
I think
to be a factor towards the end, and that's the
I
fault
think what
of the other
this
teams
speaks
they're
to
playing.
more
Especially
so
the Bucs.
is
Listen. If the Bucs don't win this game, we have a lot of bigger problems here. We're talking about Bronco, Russell Wilson level size discussions. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Tom Brady will take his Metamucil and get over his shock and his midlife crisis. He'll easily win this game. In that game, though, the McCaffrey trade rumors, which we haven't mentioned at all, which has been such an absurd thing to think about. McCaffrey's in play. Well, they're accepting offers. They're not even shopping him around.
Right.
I mean, my dream scenario, of course, would be him at the Miami Dolphins. Would that be tremendous? But unfortunately, the nightmare scenario is very much in play as one of the three teams that are allegedly in play are the Bills. Can you imagine the Bills?
Oh, God. I didn't know
McCaffrey?
that.
Yeah. Did that give you a shiver down your spine? That's like, no, that's not fair at that point. I mean, we have Von Miller acquired last, now we have McCaffrey on this side. No, let's not go crazy, people. Okay, so that's my view on Bucs Panthers. Should not be discussing the game because that's if the Bucs Panthers is done discussion.
I guess I meant I had it as it's just like I'm going to keep watching it on the banner to see what's going on because to your point, what I'm saying is that I need to see them win this handedly. Not
should be 33 to 10.
Right, correct. That's all. That's what I was getting at with that game. And then a couple more that I had listed. I know it's a snooze fest, but you do have Titans and Colts battling for first place for a division, which is always entertaining. And then
I think, in my opinion, the Titans are going to remember who they are, and they're going to just obliterate the Colts.
They're going to remember the Titans.
They're going to remember the Titans. Maybe that's why I wrote "Remember the Titans." Yeah, can they be like Derrick Henry? Can I be like, oh no, don't touch me, I'm fine. I'm going to go through
this. And then saving some of the better storylines for last. I've got the Chiefs 49ers, which should be a great game, but not only a great game, it means that one of those two teams will be coming out with back-to-back losses.
That's the Niners. I mean, the Chiefs are not going to go back-to-back. I mean, I can't imagine that happening.
You can't imagine it, but
I know. Listen, last week, first of all, we'll get to baseball because I couldn't imagine anything that happened there. So let's definitely. By the way, to be consistent, the one thing we've been consistent about at Sports, of course, is we can't imagine anything week to week, and it happens. So we've been wrong, spectacularly wrong about everything, which has been fantastic to watch. Anyway.
And then I've got basically the same type of storylines. I've got the Lions, Cowboys, and also the Steelers, Dolphins. Meaning we have big name quarterbacks coming back.
You mentioned my two favorite games coming up are the Lions and Cowboys. That's my DL under the radar fun game to watch. I think the Lions, if they snap out of it and start scoring points again, which we all know they did for the first 5 weeks, they was kind of like 4 weeks. Until the mighty Patriots, until the mighty no-name defense, Zappe-hour defense just completely obliterated, shut them out of all things. But I think the Cowboys, Dak Prescott's back, and I think that's going to be very, very telling. I mean, again, it should be a game that the Cowboys win by 2 touchdowns, but if Dak does his 200 yards. 1 touchdown pass, no picks game, then we're fine. He's on the road back to being Dak Prescott. If he has a terrible game, then that's a whole different old shit moment. And then it becomes, but if he does Dak Prescott things, then the Cowboys are, because, that Cooper Kupp, is that his name? No. Who's the quarterback that was there?
Rush. Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush. I won't all these Cooper names. All right. Cooper Rush, he did his job. I mean, tremendously well. So now the point is, if Dak can take the wheel, just take the keys again and drive this car home, the Cowboys are going to be Cowboys-Eagles heading for this really great clashing back. And, they could end up playing 2 or 3 more times, right? Because of the playoffs and everything. Anyway, it's a very interesting game. But you mentioned the game of the week, of course, for me is Steelers at Miami. A couple things I want to mention before we get into all of that. Is that this, to me, is a game of the week for many reasons. Obviously, my beloved Tua is back, fully healthy, completely ready to go. And I'll say this because, again, my own optimism and my own bias, but I mean, as much as you joke about it, I do a deep dive on this team like few people I know. Certainly, You do it for the Patriots. You've done it for your whole adult life. I feel it in my marrow of my bones that we would be undefeated, 6-0 easily if Tua was playing the entire time. Easily. He's still, by the way, he's coming back on Sunday as a top-rated quarterback in football. Still. So I'll say that.
Well, why shouldn't he? If he was going in, why shouldn't he coming out?
Because other players can step up, and it could be, which they haven't. Which Josh Allen is right on his heels about it in every category. But still, I'm just saying. But if the numbers mean anything, sometimes
Josh Allen is on Tua's heels
for the quarterback rating, for QB rating. Okay. Not relax, for heaven's sakes. Jesus, I'm not. Tua has a long way to go before he's Josh Allen. I understand, but I was just saying.
I'm just making sure.
Saying we beat the Bills and the Ravens.
Got that out of your mouth.
I know, because we've been talking. We beat, with Tua, somehow we beat the Bills and the Ravens and the Patriots, and without him, we lost to the likes of the Jets. And so the point is that we're 3-3. As I mentioned last week, I had a hunch that with Teddy Bridgewater, the least impressive quarterback in football, leading the way, the Dolphins would definitely be in trouble. Only, by the way, Teddy Bridgewater is so bad that he's the second string quarterback, former all-pro quarterback, that he was healthy, off the protocol, and was still benched for the third string rookie who had one game in his NFL career, which he lost. And the rookie, once again, gets hurt after having a very impressive first quarter. Threw for 150 yards, and Tyreek Hill and Waddle was one. So sure enough, his thumb gets hurt, and we have Teddy Bridgewater. I'll spare you the comments about that experience. It was the worst 2 quarters of my entire life. Okay, so moving on. Now that's behind us. Tua's back. Number 1. Number 2, this is the Revenge Bowl. This is the first game between Brian Flores, the head coach for Miami that's suing the NFL, and also literally hated Tua and would bench him when Tua would turn around. He'd be benched for no apparent reason. So that's going to be. So Tua has a chip on his shoulder about that because he loves his current coach, McDaniel. So the third aspect of this is the 50th anniversary of my beloved 1972 perfect season Miami Dolphins, the only team in football history to be undefeated. That's going to be 50th anniversary honoring. So we're going to go all in with the throwback unis and the whole thing in Miami, and it's nationally televised Sunday night football game. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And here's the thing, and the caveat to all of this: if the Dolphins, with Tua healthy, with that spectacle of national television, if we lose to Mitch Trubisky's Steelers, I literally may not recover ever from this experience. So I'm just saying.
What will you do?
I would not. Well, you'll see next Tuesday if that happens. I just don't know. I don't even know if I can watch the game live. I may have to DVR it 10 minutes and just catch up and fast forward and go back and see it live. I get really nervous when I see teams we should be beating, and I have a feeling Tua's going to come in and say, "I got you. Relax, people. I got this." So I'm thinking that anyway. So that's to me the game of the week, of course. Sunday Night Football, national television, all the spectacle. I love the throwback unis. We all love the throwback unis. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah. The only reason I'm disagreeing that that's the game of the week is because it's against the Steelers. I could care less.
Ask Tom Brady about that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh my God, the Steelers. If they become a power, I can't. Okay.
They won't.
I know they won't. They're terrible. They're a terrible team. Yeah. All right. Let's get off football. This is Mediocrity Fest. Let's move off football.
Mediocrity. All right, let's talk about baseball and how neither one of us can predict anything in baseball.
I did one thing right. I said one thing right. I said, as Harper goes, the Phillies.
Yeah,
go.
It's true.
Harper went and went and went.
Harper took off. He did.
Yeah,
it's true.
So I did say Harper goes.
MLB playoffs. A lot has happened since the last time we jumped on the air together. The biggest one that jumped out to me was that all teams with 100 plus wins are out of the playoffs. Gone.
So, yes, but forget that. The Dodgers, the unavoidable, unmistakable, irrefutable best team in baseball the past 3 years, once again underperforms, underwhelms, doesn't do it. And this year, I mean, the Padres, what?
Yeah.
It's it was a big what? I mean, I have so many Dodger fans as friends of mine, and they were just Freddie Freeman, it's been pretty sad to watch their reaction. They're kind of stunned still,
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So that's really interesting. Now we have what? Padres,
Phillies. And then we're
by the
still,
way,
as of this recording, we're still, because the Yankees game got delayed.
right, postponed. Yeah. So it's Guardians and Yankees in Game 5.
Yep. So we're still waiting on that.
If the Yankees don't pull that out, that would be the ultimate, most surprising playoff results in probably modern history in baseball. I mean,
pretty close. Yeah. Obviously the Astros pulled out theirs. We knew we were rooting for Seattle just because it's, there was a heartfelt story, but we knew deep down that probably the Astros would win. I was hoping it wouldn't be a sweep. I was hoping
the Astros, watching the Astros, and we talked about this a bit last week. Watching the Astros to me is like a little bit like I was watching the Calgary Flames from the aughts, as the kids say, from the 2000s, when the Calgary Flames would go back to back and when they win the division round, and I'm like, Calgary Flames? What? Who are you? Why are you even on my television screen? And this is exactly how I feel about the Astros. Calgary at least had the cool uniform with the sea on fire type of thing,
For sure, yeah.
But which we'll talk about names, I guess, at some point. But kind of segue that a little bit. But the Astros, can we all agree? Whomever, if the Yankees or Guardians win, we want the Yankees to beat the Astros.
Yes.
Can we agree on that?
I think that's fairly universal.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
but baseball's going to be good.
The heartbreaking part about it was that Astros series, like it just from game one, like I knew game one when the Astros won in that walk-off home run.
That was pretty impressive. It was pretty dramatic though.
It was so dramatic, and I was like, oh god, I mean, it's so deflating. As like I was like, oh, those poor.
How tall is he? Does he not look like him and Aaron Judge can just go into Tokyo and just stomp the entire city down with like Godzilla or something? You kids don't remember that Godzilla series of movies would go to Japan for some reason and stomp out the Japanese capital. It was terrible. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, they hung in there with the Astros. The game one, they're hanging in. They're fighting, and then it's just boom, walk-off home run. And it was like, oh my gosh. And then they were the ones, didn't they go like 18 innings the other night?
15? Was it 15?
Yeah, 15. Like, just 0-0. The game one is one. The final score is one. Like, so yeah, they got swept, but it was like a heartbreaking sweep.
It wasn't decisive. It
was like they were there. They were right there the whole time.
Yeah. I think it's going to be, if I had money on it right now, I would put Yankees-Phillies down.
Phillies, a little East Coast action.
The Amtrak series.
Yeah.
The Acela series, they call it. The Acela, remember? The Acela Express line.
It's going to be a cold World Series.
Well, they're cold teams, But Bryce Harper, if he's going to be the MVP for the World Series, you're going to be like, yeah, of course it's me. Who else is it going to be? Like that Aaron Judge, that loser, that hack. All right, baseball. Let's move off baseball. Because we can't predict anything.
Because we can't
clearly see.
So
we clearly know.
We said Phillies, Yankees, so clearly it's going to be Padres, Astros,
Guardians.
Right.
Oh my God.
All right, moving on. Let's get to a little this week in.
Huh? We did it at the same time.
We finally did it. 7 episodes. We finally did it at the same time.
Okay.
All right. My this week in is comes from my very own Zappe-hour led Patriots, and there was a moment where we blocked a punt, and one of our new guys, Schooler, grabbed the punt, got the recovery, put us in great field position to strike again. Schooler runs over to the sideline and presents the football to Belichick.
I didn't see this. Did he just like spike it down?
No. Well, yeah. So he's like,
who are you? Get over me.
It was like a cat bringing home a mouse, right? And like putting it on the like he's like here, coach.
Present.
Look what I did. And Belichick's reaction is just priceless. I mean, like he's like watching the game like this, and like he feels the football, and he just looks at it, and he's like, and he pushes it away and looks away at the same time. And another coach grabs Schooler by the shoulders and is like, you can't hear him obviously, but like grabs him and like leads him away, gives him that like, No, son, you're not allowed to talk to him.
Do not make eye contact.
It was awesome. And he was like so like heartbroken. He's like a little kid. And he was like, I'm just trying to give him a present.
Look what I did, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. It was look what I did, Dad.
God.
And Dad did not give two shits.
Dad's like, I put food on the table. I don't know your name.
It was really funny.
That's
yeah,
funny.
it was
Mine's
really
a little bit more inspiring than that. I mean, Belichick being a dick is kind of like, par for the course, I would say. After T-Dad. I'm sure he wasn't, but why not? Let's just bring it up.
Let's go with it. Maybe it'll bring ratings.
Like in the pantheon of offenses that Belichick could possibly be accused of, sure, why not? Absentee father. Why not? Workaholic, good coach. He has to be in the film room the whole time. Okay, good. All right. Mine moment in is actually Jalen Hurts. Not for what you think. Jalen Hurts, as you know, I haven't been that convinced yet that the Eagles are for real. But then I started looking at the actual schedule. They may not lose till week 12 or something when they actually play the Packers.
I haven't looked ahead at theirs.
They literally play nobody. They play literally like I think they played the Commanders 4 times. I mean, it's like something like that. It's something like equally as horrifying, like the Lions and the Texans or people like that. So teams like that. So anyway, but for Jalen Hurts, interestingly, which I just found out about, did you know that his entire team he has 7 people that are senior, that calls him the cabinet, his senior team that takes care of him, right? His life, his career, his everything, right?
Okay.
His manager, his agent, his marketing director, his communications director, his public relations agent, his talent agent that negotiates all his contracts, all women. The only player in NFL history that has entire team all women. I find it awesome.
Wow.
And very 21st century and about damn time. And he says, these people are not, I didn't pick them because they're women, they're killers. He says, these people are killers for me.
Yeah.
They'll die for me. I find that to be, keep that on the back of our mind for a trend to watch. If Jalen Hurts has a career year like he seems to be having, if everything coalesces into this, like all the endorsements he's sure to get, all that stuff he's going to be, all the good PR, all the good appearances, all the whatever, he becomes a Michael Jordan-esque type of beginning career type of deals.
Sure.
Start watching out for these type of women moving up. So and by the way, is it just me, or is every single game I'm watching on football has at least 2 women on the sideline as refs? And unless the men are growing out their hair with ponytails, because it's a lot of ponytails going on. Could be like, a lot of ponytail, a lot of guys, grooming their hair properly because, But anyway, it's a very interesting, and the best part about that, in a year, of course, of bad calls and everything, nary a sound from a bad call from a woman thus far as I've heard. So anyway, so that's kind of interesting to me. But Jalen Hurts, I think, good on him that he actually has
that's
this
really
type
cool.
of approach. Yeah,
definitely.
So
we'll give a little. Well done, sir.
I'll do that, Nancy, the Pelosi. Anyway, she's like, all right. So moving on.
Yeah, RPF. Tell us what's up right now. Lay it on us.
Two-lane green wave. Two-lane green
And
wave.
we're
Third week. Listen, we won again. Here's the best part. I mean, I've never talked about Tulane as far as the sports context ever because what's there to say? Where we have Gumby as a mascot. We're the green wave in a city that has the Mississippi River. That nothing green about it. It's all brown and gunky. So here we go. We have Tulane Green Wave. Won again. We're 6-1. We have officially entered for the first time since 1988 the NCAA rankings for AP and coaches and player everything. We're number 25 in the rankings. And look, I'm sure Tulane will end up playing the Twinkies Bowl in Boise or something. That's going to be probably what we end up. But I don't care. Right now, because we qualified for a bowl, we became bowl eligible for earliest time in our history, which is amazing.
Okay.
Tulane, you don't understand. This is like entering my brain and not registering properly because it's always been like if the Lions fan says, "Oh, you're going to win 3 bowls in a row, 3 Super Bowls," yeah, sure, But anyway, here's the added bonus to this whole shtick. Not only if that wasn't good enough that we were 6-1, heading into 2 winnable games, by the way, which I shouldn't jinx it because it's Tulane, but 6-1, we are bowl eligible. and we're number 25 in both rankings. By us being ranked 25, the number 26 team in both polls was the LSU Tigers, our dreaded interstate rival. Yeah. So the LSU, we kept LSU from being ranked for the first time in 20 years. So
holy shit. Yeah.
Very happy news for every Tulane fan for a moment. I mean, we'll come back to earth eventually, but who is going to come back to earth? The entire podcast are about teams overperforming and, impossible to predict moments. Here we are. Tulane. That's what Tulane. Anyway, for the first time in a long time, I'm thinking about, I just, recorded, make sure that my DirecTV understands that every Tulane game has to be DVR'd for me now. I want to make sure that I'm not missing any scintillating moments from the Tulane season. So anyway, good on my Green Wave alumni, and I'm very excited about the team. So anyway, that's Tulane. Win-win. That's a win-win, by the way. That we win, LSU loses. That's a win-win for me. So,
wow, anyway. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It's unparalleled. It's unprecedented. How's that?
Yeah.
We heard that a lot this past couple of years, but that's really unprecedented. So yeah.
All right.
I'm
Last
ready.
one.
I'm ready.
Moving into the lightning round. We have. I don't care. Not sure what the listeners thought, but we had so much fun doing the name game with the football teams a couple episodes.
I got a lot of comments about it, so people like it. People
a couple episodes ago. I thought we would revisit it with some other sports. So here we go. We're gonna do the name game with MLB baseball in honor of the playoffs. MLB baseball American League edition. So we're gonna go through.
Okay.
I'll go through the divisions, and we'll just kind of give me your thoughts. Give me the worst one, and then any others that jump out at you, like what's going on.
Well, is it easier if you go down the list?
That's what I'm saying.
It's division. Got it. Okay,
I'm going to go AL East, and then we'll go through them. All right?
Yeah.
So here we go. So tell me. So your gut reaction is going to be the most absurd team name from each one. Okay, ready?
Yep.
AL East. We've got Red Sox, Orioles, Rays, Blue Jays, Yankees.
Red Sox. What? The only player in our history who ever fulfilled that name was Curt Schilling during the World Series, right? with a bloody sock. Which, by the way, he's become a crazy person. But that beyond that, but he's still. I give him props for that season. But Curt Schilling with the Red Sox, as a reaction to the White Sox, which, by the way, makes less sense playing a sport in dirt. And then we have the Black Sox scandal. So the whole get off footwear, get off. Anything on your feet should not be discussed as a mascot or no
more footwear. What is the Red Sox? Does that go back to? I
don't know. I don't know if the White Sox or Red Sox, because Boston Braves were the original name,
right,
for the Boston franchise. And I don't know at what point the Red Sox became the Red. It became was Babe Ruth with the Red Sox or the Braves? I mean, I think he might have been there for that transition.
Yeah.
But the White Sox, I think, came first, and then the Red Sox was the reaction to the White Sox. Why Red Sox? Why not like taupe? The taupe Sox, like lavender, like mauve.
Yeah.
Periwinkle. That would have been great. The periwinkle Sox.
Yeah. Right. Other than that, we're pretty heavy on the birds.
Yeah, there's a lot of birds flying around. I mean, it's like
a lot of birds.
The Blue Jays. First of all, Toronto is like frozen 10 months of the year. What are you talking about, a Blue Jay? They're flying south. If anything, they're not
constantly.
Wait, wasn't Toronto the place where Randy Johnson obliterated a goose?
No, I don't know if that was. I don't know where that was.
That was just the most horrifying.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know you're talking. It was one of my favorite. That was on season 1. I had that on season 1 of our show.
And it was literally, it was, the bird was no longer there. There's nothing, there's no evidence of that ever happening because it just obliterated.
So that is, I'll have to find this, but that is, so Randy Johnson is now a professional photographer.
Okay.
And now he's working sidelines for the NFL.
What?
But his,
they should do we should do a segment about
his logo.
After your career, you're doing what? You're doing what?
His logo for Randy Johnson photography is an upside down bird.
No.
Yeah.
It's like having Mike Tyson be when Mike Tyson did
ear.
he had a cannabis candy edible with an ear shape called ears.
Perfect.
I was like, really? You're doing a highlight when you become a cannibal? That's your highlight of your career? I mean, oh my God. Anyway.
All right. AL Central. Guardians, White Sox.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hang on, I got to say in this one. Guardians, White Sox, Twins, Tigers, Royals. You're saying Guardians. I mean, I kind of agree.
Royals are ridiculous. I mean, Royals. Kansas City Royals. Wait, sorry. Did Charles and did Prince King Charles now descend on Kansas City, Missouri? What the actual F?
Right.
It's not even in the royal we. Not even like if you include drag queens, they don't hail from Kansas City. Only thing there is like tornadoes and barbecue. I mean, right? I mean, there's nothing there. So what the actual F are the Royals? What are the?
I don't know.
I mean, why not I don't know, like the mushrooms or something. What is going on? I mean, the béarnaise sauce will be more accurate there with the steakhouses there.
So this is one of the teams I actually played for, and I was like, what are we?
Wait, did they give you like a Burger King crown, like in the locker room? Did they give you
when you show as a rookie, when you show up, when you first get to the clubhouse?
They give you a scepter. They give you a scepter.
Yeah,
oh my God, that's bad. But the Guardians are not great either.
They're not great. A sneaky one. I've got the Tigers. The Tigers are a cool mascot, but how many Tigers are roaming around Detroit?
I can argue just a few. I mean, there's a zoo there. I mean, the Tigers. I mean, that's to me that's a classic. Bear, tiger. These type of cougar, cheetah. Are there cheetahs? There's no cheetahs anywhere, are there? But anyway, the point is that I think that's menacing. That's a great logo, good logo thing, good uniform possibility. Even the Bengals in football, it's all kind of workable. To me, a Guardian's like stop. Where's your hall pass? It's like like a narc. You should be called the narcs. It should be like that's not a great name. And we talked about the White Sox. What? Yeah, White Sox. Think about it. We say it so often that we don't think about it. What the actual F? By the way, and why is it spelled with an X? What is God about? For both the Red Sox and White. That's not even proper grammar. What are you talking about? It's like now it's slang. The slang term, White Sox. It's like it's disturbing on very deep levels. Not as much as we mentioned earlier in football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the famous Pirates of Tampa, that are kind of
right. Right. Well, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get into that next week when we do the National League and we get to the famous Pirates of Pittsburgh.
Yes, and when the three rivers converge and there's a pirate booty.
The well-known, right?
Yeah, the well-known pirate.
We all know Blackbeard sailed down those three rivers.
That's exactly
very well documented.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right, AL West: Astros, Mariners, Angels, Rangers, Athletics.
Okay, the Angels, by definition, in fact, they even made a movie of this. You're dead. Okay, you're literally saying we all are dead, and you're like we're kind of hovering above the field with little halos on our heads.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to play for a team that glorifies being dead. Personally. All right. Well, what's the other ones?
Astros, Mariners, Rangers, and Athletics.
Mariners. Okay, you're close to the water enough, I guess. I mean, are
what
there really Mariners in Seattle?
What is an athletic?
It's better than what I do watching football all day. It's basically not me. How's that? Oakland should be like the Oakland, we're not San Francisco. We're like landlocked in San Francisco. I mean, Oakland, we have an airport. I don't know. I don't know what else they would be called. Home of Bart and Muni mass transit. I don't know exactly what they would be called otherwise. I mean, and by the way, in basketball, why is Golden State all of a sudden the team name for the whole Bay Area? And Warrior. Are there Warriors in Golden State? Anyway.
Right.
So I think Oakland A's are not great. The Mariners, I can give them a pass. They're adjacent to an ocean, I guess. What's the other ones?
Astros and Rangers. That makes sense.
Astros,
Houston.
Yeah. We have a problem. Yeah. And what's the other one?
Texas Rangers.
Yeah. That's yeah.
They're right on. They're right on brand. They're doing well. All right. Yeah. Well, hey, that's it.
That's not bad. So the worst name in the American League, I go with. I think the Red Sox, White Sox are hard to justify. I mean, I want to see the whiteboard. I want to see the whiteboard conference room meeting to discuss coming up with these names for these teams.
I gotta go Royals.
Royals are pretty. Okay. You convinced me. The Royals.
I just don't know why.
By the way, is there a coincidence that the two teams you played for in Major League had arguably the two most inappropriate nicknames? Just wondering if there's a connection to all of this.
Yeah, we'll do it. Let's get Netflix to do a documentary.
Maybe you could be a backup for Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. the Bucs because you're the right age at this point.
Right.
Oh my God.
Tom Brady.
Another podcast in the book.
There's another podcast in the books. Yeah, this one for all you kind of not really paying great attention to. We hit some snags and we came through it and we
powered through.
Yeah,
buddy.
you won't even know. My editing is going to be so great, you won't even know what I'm talking about.
This is grinding one out. This is just pushing, persevering.
Yeah.
Go. Nothing will stop us. Nothing will deter us.
Nothing will stop us.
Sports, of course. And I want to make a personal plea. Go to YouTube, please, and hit subscribe and like to our channel, Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF.
Yes, absolutely. You can find us everywhere, all your podcast listening platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Search Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF. It has been a great show, and we will see you next week. See you, RPF.
Tua on Sunday night.
See you then.